When it comes to lures for Australian freshwater natives, there's few baits more versatile than the humble spinnerbait. Emerging from the US bass scene, the spinnerbait really didn't arrive down under until the late 90s and early 2000s, and came about largely on the back of the catch and release tournaments that took off around that time. Designed primarily as a baitfish imitation, the spinnerbait has a very simple form. The first thing you'll notice, of course, is its wire frame. On one end you have your weight with the hook attached, and on the other, the blades. While the form of the spinnerbait is quite simple, there can be many variations within it. Now, of course, the frame is the most noticeable, and they can range from small, compact ones such as this, to large, heavy-duty, broad ones such as this. Now, the weight of the head can vary as well, from small, feather-light ones such as this, all the way up to big, bulbous, heavy-duty ones such as these guys. Of course, they get larger again, and the cod guys especially like 1 and 2 ounce spinnerbaits. When it comes to blades, there's options as well, with Willow, Colorado, and Indiana the 3 most popular choices. This guy here is long and slender and is known as a Willow, while this short, squat guy is a Colorado. The Indiana is a bit of an in-between, and is shaped a bit like this. Now, of course, you can go all the same, or you can mix these different blade types. So I guess the question is, when do you use all those different options? When it comes to frame size, it's largely about what you're trying to achieve. Are you going for a small, compact baitfish profile, or do you want something that's much larger and has much more presence in the water? It's also about the depth of the water that you're going to fish. In shallow water, a nice little compact frame will keep the bait high in the water. While if you're fishing deep water and you want to get down to where the fish are on the bottom, a big, solid, heavy-duty frame is the way to go. When it comes to blades, it's about finding the right tool for the job, and the different blades all have different characteristics and, of course, are suited to different tasks. Due to their slender profile, willow blades are a great option when you want to move that lure quickly, whether it be on the sink or on the retrieve. While willow blades allow you to move the lure very quickly and provide plenty of flash, they perhaps don't give as much vibration as you would like, such as when using a Colorado. Subsequently, if you are after the best of both worlds, flash and vibration, that's when this configuration comes into its own, and it's called a tandem, a willow at the bottom and a Colorado at the top. Blades, of course, come in different colours, with gold and silver the 2 most common options. Gold is popular in overcast conditions or in slightly dirtier water, while on those bright days and in clear water, silver is a popular choice. The finish on the blades can also have an effect as well, with the blades that feature striations and dimples providing a touch more flash and a little bit more vibration through the water. Skirt colour is perhaps the most noticeable colour difference when it comes to a spinnerbait, and just like you do with all lures, you choose a colour based on what you're trying to replicate and the conditions that you're fishing. If it's a baitfish I'm trying to replicate, then I'll just go with a traditional white tone, while on an overcast or dark day I might want to have a bit more punch in my spinnerbait, and that's when I'll go something like an orange or a bright yellow. 90% of my spinnerbait fishing is chasing bass or sooty grunter, and my great all-rounder for both of those species is either a 1/2 ounce or a 5/8 ounce, in either a double willow or a tandem. Now, one of my favourite things when it comes to sooty grunter is catching them shallow, and for that my spinnerbait choice becomes a bit more specific, and I opt for a heavy spinnerbait, compact, with a single willow. This configuration allows me to work it fast and shallow without it blowing out of the water. When fishing trees, and especially deep trees for sooty grunter, I step up in not only weight but also blade configuration. A 5/8 ounce compact with plenty of blades and plenty of flash is the way I like to go. Now, when it comes to throwing spinnerbaits, 90% of the time I'll use baitcaster gear. The only time that I'll really use spin tackle is when I'm throwing really small, really compact baits. A 1/4 ounce and lighter is when I might reach for a spin rod. When it comes to an all-round baitcaster outfit, I like a 6'4" to 7 foot medium to medium heavy fast taper rod. And the reel I generally use on it is a 6.3. It's a great all-round retrieve ratio. And on that I will run 10 to 20 pound PE and a 12 to 16 pound leader. When moving to the trees, you generally want to step up an outfit. The rod choice I go for is a 6'10" to 7'4" long rod. A medium or medium heavy or even a heavy is the way to go. Now the reel, once again, just like this guy, is a 6.3 to 1 ratio. Line on it, however, I take up from my all-rounder and I run a 15 to 30 pound line. Leader, anywhere between a 14 to 25 pound leader is the way to go. When it comes to retrieving spinnerbaits, the list of options is very long. Regardless of which one you choose, one thing to keep in mind is that the spinnerbait is largely a reaction presentation, and for that it means the lure needs to be moving. Now for me, the standard one that I opt for is a slow rolling retrieve. However, that doesn't always work. If that's the case, you want to switch it up a bit. A slow burn, a fast burn, or even a pause on the retrieve can be enough to get the fish to bite. There we are guys, some tips and tricks and a rundown on spinnerbaits. Good luck on the water and happy spinnerbaiting.